All right, is it recording? All right, it's recording. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Kim, and this is the workshop for how to find studying positions for the medical school, dental school, and pharmacy school. My name is Ryan Kim. I'm the founder and the chair of an OCAPUCR, and also I major in psychology, and also I'm a pre-medical student who is also studying this biomedical science. Can you guys hear me well? There's no
Yeah,
voice?
yeah.
All right,
Perfect.
just to be sure. Got it. And let's begin. So we're here for you, and we hope you have a great summer. May all you feel recharged and refreshed. And remember, you're loved. And if you have any question throughout the slide, just ask. You don't have to be, asking just some weird question. You don't have to ask questions like, is this right to ask? You just ask. There's no such thing as a bad question. So you can ask me any question. Welcome to OCAPUCR workshop, and then let's begin. Before we go on, OCAPUCR is me. I'm the founder and the chair. My name is Jung Kim, and I'm a rising fourth-year pre-medical student UCR, Korean American. I'm a first gen to do medicine from my family. That means I understand what it feels like to have no physician in connection, and also feels like, I know what it feels like to just feel like lost, even if you're trying your absolute best. So don't worry, ask me a question. And also, I made this like an year ago. So I said I finished most of my prerequisites. I actually finished all of them, and I took multiple predicts in my major, and I have shadowed multiple different specialists. And we created this workshop to help people to even have better experience than I had, or at least the same experience as I had through this big companies, the big hospitals. These are some of the shadowings I have done in hospital. I have done through various surgeries such as cardiothoracic surgery, trauma surgery, vascular surgery, orthopedic surgery, and more. And I have done various medicine such as nephrology, oncology, and cardiology, and more. When someone say medicine in hospital, people think as medicine as general, but medicine means internal medicine. So when someone say medicine, you can just think, oh, it's internal medicine. So it's like either one of nephrology, oncology, cardiology, and so on. Now, importantly, OCAPUCR is an independent organization that is not affiliated with UCR and was founded to help the pre-medical, dental, pharmacy, and many more pre and already healthcare students in as many ways as possible. And one of them is doing this workshop that we're doing right now. And then we have a mini book series too that we are made with along with other medical students and along with the other medical school accepted students. And we'll make this for free so that we can give to students. And we're currently on our fifth revision. We've been working hard to bring out the fifth revision for a long period of time right now. It's been like 2 months. The reason is there's so many good questions. They're asked by people, and then we have a Q&A session in the book where we answer the most commonly asked question by pre-medical students. And then we're just adding more of them. That's the reason it takes a long time to finishing it, but it still will be worth it. And then at the end, when it's done, we will give you guys for free. We can still send you the fourth revision, which is that we have, but we are going to send you the fifth revision as soon as it's finished. Many other versions of many book series will be available in the near future, and also many other workshops will also be available for the people that might have problems or hard times finding the studying position for themselves. We might even contact some of the physicians who are very cooperative so that we can work together to give you guys an online shadowing experience. So we're working on the two. So please stay tuned for that. And what is shadowing? Does anyone actually know what shadowing is? Is shadowing only a thing in medicine? And shadowing costs money? Shadowing simply means you're actually learning what kind of work one is doing by following around like shadow. That's why it's called shadowing. And then a lot of times people think that shadowing is only a thing in medicine, but it isn't. Shadowing actually happens in many type of workplace, CPA, police officer, chef, and banker, and so many more, which means you shouldn't feel bad about asking physicians for shadowing. It's one of the most common practice in workplace, and you shouldn't be afraid for that. So it's your right to learn and also ask. So don't feel worried about asking physician for shadowing positions. Even the physician that you want to ask the shadowing position for, or the one also who asked for shadowing position when they were pre-medical students. So don't feel bad about that. Don't feel hesitated, or don't even feel anxiety about just asking someone for help. Remember, even those attendings were pre-medical students like you, they must have the same situation back in the day. Hence, don't be afraid to ask. Just ask the question, they will just really help you. You don't have to pay for shadowing. Now, there are some clubs in school and there are some organizations that are well known that ask you to pay a membership fee and they let you shadow their physicians. I think that could be a way to go. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to do, but I personally think it's very unnecessary if you could find your own physician and learn from your own people that you made a connection with. And also, teaching hospital's job is to teach and prepare the next generations of physicians. Hence, as you are studying to become a great physician in the near future, you don't have to feel obligated to pay any type of monetary assets to shadow physicians. Now it's your turn to shadow. We're going to plan out shadowing email to send to attendings at medical school, dental school, pharmacy school, depends on which field you want to go into. Gonna go over some important strategy while writing email, some things to keep in mind while shadowing physicians at teaching hospital. And these are some of the examples of services we want to focus on this workshop, but if you have any questions, just ask. We're more than welcome to just answer questions you're asking. And then we're going to go over how to find physicians, how to write a good emails, what are some things to keep in mind when someone is shadowing. Let's begin. A lot of people ask, how do I even find a physician that I want to shadow? You simply Google their names. Actually, Google the school's name. Whenever you want to shadow someone at the school specifically that you want to shadow at, you can just write down school name and the faculty page. For example, I done my shadowing at UC Irvine. So I done a UC Irvine School of Medicine faculty page, and I can just click their names. And you can check all the list of physicians and show their emails, their contact, and their photo research, and blah, 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 and so on. We have covered their faces for the privacy issue. But when you click those names, you will probably see all the list of physicians who you can check out for. Now, this is the example of what you will see when you click the profile there. This is actually our great media director, Roma Desai. She's actually preparing for a step 2 USMLE. She's a medical student. And then she's studying art. She should be here today, but since she was too busy studying, we asked her to not to come. And this is one of the examples you will see. When you click their name, you will be able to find home departments, what they're doing. Let me write down. Let me put some, is there a pen option here? Annotate. Let's see if this one. You will see like their department here, their contact email. You will usually see their names, so like UC Irvine, Matt, Eddie, or something. You will even find their phone, but please do not bug them through phone. You should email them. And then you will see their research interest. And also you will see their publications too. This is golden. This is very important. Now, there's a question I want to ask you guys for. Wait a minute. Why do you think we care about the research interest in publication? Like, why do you think research of a publication of this physician has wrote matters? You don't have to answer it, but just think about it for a few seconds. Yes, because we're going to mention them in our emails. This is very important because it shows that you care about them as a physicians. We're going to go over how to use them soon. This is a very important strategy. The reason is a lot of time pre-medical students write an email to a physician for shadowing asking, can I shadow you? Like, or I'm this person, I need shadowing, may I shadow you? Of course, that might be, that might sound not bad, but there isn't a reason for a physician to let you shadow. If a physician is busy, if the physician is, just having his time, he might not want to come to the clinic and, maybe ruin something. You need to give them a reason. You need to give them a reason for them to want you to come to their office and clinics and surgery and operation room to learn from them. And the one way is to mention their work. But what if I cannot find physicians' information from the page? There will be a time where you're searching up like names from Kaiser or like names from certain like university. You might not find the whole information about a do, but you want us to, shadow them. You can just copy and paste their names in Google. You can write down their, names like we use my name for my, what is it? For the, what is it? For the example, but you can put like some name, some MD, and you will probably find their LinkedIn. You will probably find their LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn. I don't know why it comes up, but you will probably their LinkedIn. You can find their even Google Scholar or maybe even their own website. You shouldn't contact physician other than email. Don't DM or LinkedIn message or Facebook message them is inappropriate. If the physician prefers a certain ways of contact from other people, he or she will probably have mentioned it on their profile. Like some people actually do, some people actually do prefer DM. So on their Instagram or on their, LinkedIn, they say, oh, please DM me through Instagram. Like if that happens, you can probably DM them, but if they don't mention anything, use email. I think email is more professional and absolutely just more way to go. Absolutely good way to go. Okay. And you should send the emails to multiple specialties and have diversity in shadowing experience. Now, you don't have to write this down. I'm gonna send you guys the PDF version after everything is done, so you don't have to worry about it. But the one thing is you should definitely specialize, you should definitely shadow specialists, multiple specialists that are even outside of your interests. For me, example is I want to be a psychiatrist. I want to go into psychiatry. But for me, I shadowed multiple different specialty for me to open up my eyes in medicine and also in order for me to write a good essay in emo and also a lot of the good background that I can use in the interview question. You can make your own schedules and you can make your own Google Docs and Excel sheet and say maybe the ideal shadowing experience will be like few specialized surgeries, cardiothoracic, orthopedic, trauma, vascular, and many more. Few subspecialized medicine like nephro, GI, pediatric, and many more. This is very important. Some of the specialty that the school you're applying is focusing on. I think this is a very important part that people are missing. Now, if you're a person who's looking into not the match, but going to medical school that is well known for, let's say, otolaryngology, ENT, you should probably shadow ENT people. Like, for example, UCR is well known for psychiatry and internal medicine, primary care. If you want to go into UCR School of Medicine, you should probably shadow primary care physician. So you should probably shadow family medicine, OB-GYN, pediatric, psychiatry, and so on. This is golden, remember. So you should start to look out some of the schools that you want to apply for and maybe look at their specialty that is well known for and also shadow them so that you can use them in your essay, you can use them in your interview question. When the interview answers, the interview admission officer is like, why is it our school? You can say, oh, this school of medicine is well known for this. And I have shadowed those specialty and I loved it and blah, 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 blah. So I think that would be a good idea for you to do. Maybe some specialty you might want to research about. If you want to do research about preventive medicine, maybe you can do preventive medicine doctor or physical rehabilitation medicine. Whatever the thing is, shadow them too. So I think these two are very important. The specialty that your school is well known for, that you're targeting for. Maybe some specialty that you might want to do research about. Because when you shadow a physician, you can ask so much question about everything you want to do. Maybe you can ask some questions like, oh, can I do this research and that, and so on. So that's probably a way to go. You should also shadow healthcare professionals that are outside of your goal too. For example, If we want to go into medical school, you should shadow nurses, nurse practitioner, and PA too. But why? Just think about it for a second. Why do you think doctor or pre-medical students should shadow nurses and PA and nurse practitioner? You don't have to answer it, but just think about it. So that we can answer the question of why doctor instead of other healthcare professional. This is very important. A lot of people end up just shadowing a doctor, but if they go into interview and been asked by interviewer, but like, so why do you want to become a doctor? You will be like, oh, I shadowed a doctor, it was fun, blah, blah, blah. But they would ask, yeah, but you only shadowed a doctor. Like, you never know if you're going to like nursing or, or physician assistants. Well, have you ever tried that? You might be like, oh, shoot, right? So you need something to prove, not to prove, but like you need something to say that I did try nursing and nurse practicing and also physical associate. I really loved it, but I appreciated more about MD and DO because of this reason and that reason. So you need to shadow nurses, you need to shadow nurse practitioner and PA too. This is very important. A lot of people only shadow doctors, but you need to shadow nurses and PAs and MP2. I will remind you this one more time at the end of the workshop, but this is very important. You should also shadow specialty that your target school is mainly known for. Just like I said, if the school is well known for ENT, then you should definitely shadow otolaryngologist. This is an example. If you have any school in your mind, I think you should have a school in your mind. If you have like, list of 10 schools that you want to go into, just search up the main specialty they're well known for. For example, UCLA, well known for just almost everything. UC Riverside, well known for primary care. UC San Diego, well known for neurosurgery. UC Irvine, well known for urology and blah, blah, blah. You can pull out the list of specialty that school is well known for, and then you can start to shadow those people, and then you will probably be able to make a good story and also good essay to mention about those fields. And that could be something that, you could literally advance your way to go. And also I think the one thing that is very beautiful is when you shadow someone at the school that you want to go into, let's say you want to go to UC Irvine School of Medicine. If you shadow like urologist from UC Irvine, and if that person is literally liking you, writing a good recommendation letter, I think you're set, really. Is that important? If your school that you want to go to has that specialty available for you to shadow, go ahead and shadow that, and also you will be able to just excel as much as you can. It's very good, it's very important. Now, you should definitely make your own portfolio. I cannot stress enough. This is very important. Make your own Google spreadsheet or docs for you to keep track of everything you learn. And also you can make the list of specialties you can try out for. The more you do it, only better for you. Write multiple emails to people, right? We are going to ask physicians for shadowing, but it doesn't have to end from 10 letters. You can do 10 letters every day. You can do multiple letters. You can ask, and you can, if the one person says after 20 trials, do it like 100 times and get like 5 people. Who cares if people say no? It's all about you getting say yes from that one person. So make the list of people, and I think the one thing you should do is just send emails to 10 physicians every day, constantly, every day. That's what I've done. And that's how I was able to get a bunch of specialty for shadow. So I think that will be a great way to go. And the one thing you should think about it is how to make your portfolio. You should make a list of portfolio, list of general specialties I want to do, list of specialties that my target school is well known for, list of specialties that I want to do research on, and maybe some specialties that you might even use in an interview. Okay. There's some specialty that you might think yourself like, what the heck? I didn't know that specialty was existing. Because like there is a specialty called occupational environmental medicine. A lot of people don't know what the OME is for, but OME is actually a whole residency. OME is well known for you know, OEME is very famous. Like UC Irvine has a whole residency for OEME, which is occupational and environmental medicine. If you ask them to shadow them, you will probably have a very good story to mention in interview and essay. Because when you say what was the most exciting or what was the most, extraordinary, extraordinary experience you had in pre-medical days or undergraduate days, you can say, oh, I have tried to shadow the occupational environmental medicine people. And it was such a fun story to mention because occupational environmental medicine is such an underrated field that no one even knows. And then you can say things like, oh, I realized even though it's underrated, that medicine is all connected to environmental and occupational, and it was something that I really enjoyed. By mentioning something that no one ever tries to shadow for, maybe you can stand out. I think that's something that someone can do. I didn't shadow occupational and environmental medicine because I didn't know they existed even before like 2 months ago. I only found out through my other attendings who I shadowed because they said there was this thing called occupational and environmental medicine. There are other specialty that's really, really, really like not known, like pathology. Pathology is actually a whole specialty. So pathologists actually have a pathology residency. So maybe you can shadow that. That's very important. Time to write an email. Now, we know how to send email. We know how to find physicians. But how do I want to write a good email that can be shadowing? The first thing to remember is that email should be more about them, not you. Sorry to say this, but physicians don't know who you are. Hence, your email should be focused on mentioning physicians' work rather than who you are. Now, we do care about you, but in the physician's point of view, they don't know who you are. Hence, you have a mindset. You should have a mindset of talking to a stranger. Of course, the physicians were pre-med like you once, but they don't know who you are. They just have to believe that you're a pre-med person who's going to this hospital, who's going to this university, and blah blah blah. So don't feel discouraged if a physician says no, or don't feel discouraged about, a lot of physicians might not, want you to come to their clinic because it's such a risk for them to have some stranger in their operation room and some stranger in the clinic. It's such a big risk. So don't worry. We're going to write a good email and we're going to get it. And that's the reason we need to make our email sounds like the word the next generation of physicians was ready to learn from these physicians. This is an example. Now, it's not that bad. Now, hello, Dr. Desai, which is the name over media director. Hello, Dr. Desai, MD. My name is Hiren Kim. I'm a pre-medical student at UCL looking for a shadow. I would like to know if I can shadow you. That sounds normal. That sounds formal. Now, if a physician is busy, they will say no. If a physician is like having a hard time, they will say no. Because, they're just asking, can you do it? I mean, if you can't do it, it's fine. It sounds like that. But a good email will sound like, hello, Dr. Desai, MD. My name is Hiren Kim. I'm a pre-medical student at UCR who came across your work or papers about osteitis deformis using radiographical tools in your research fascinated me. This osteitis or deformis, this is one of the things that one of the orthopedic surgeons I shadowed for was well known for. I still don't know what this hack thing is, but I still shadowed him. But this was one of his paper, and he was using radiographic tools to find these things. The thing is, when you mention their work, they like you. They're like, sounds interesting. Because think about it. If someone mentioned about, let's say someone mentioned about the paper you wrote, paper you worked hard for, paper you worked really hard for. Let's say someone reads your blog. Let's say someone reads your, some of the articles you wrote for some organization. When someone say, hey, I read your paper, what about that? You will like him, right? You will like the person. Oh, like, oh yeah, you read my paper. You will like someone who tried their effort to read someone's paper that someone had to work for. This is the point. We want to make sure that we appreciate their work. This is the point. A lot of people just keep asking, can I shadow you? Who care about you? But if you give them a reason to care about you, they will look at your email for sure. Radiographic tools, this whatever the things, but this is one of the example. We're going to go further and explain. We're going to give a template too to how to write, so don't worry. Now, the only thing you benefit them is the feeling of pride. The only thing you benefit the physician is the feeling of pride. Physicians get nothing from you for letting you shadow them, except the feeling of pride of contributing to make the next generation of physicians. Because you need to make them feel good about themselves, and that is why we mention their proud work. We want to appreciate their contribution in medicine and biomedical science in general. Make sure you sound professional. Please don't sound like an undergraduate student. Please sound like a pre-medical student. A lot of times I cannot stress enough on how much a letter means. Letter can save your life, literally. With letters, you can get scholarships. Sometimes, even if you didn't get into some medical school by writing a good email, you can literally get into medical school that you didn't even got into. Letter is that important. Letter means a lot. Letter has a power. So if you practice how to write a good email right now, it will really help you throughout the life. So that's the point. Remember, the only thing you benefit this physician is the feeling of pride. And in order for them to feel the pride, thinking to themselves like, oh, I hope this good pre-medical student who will be a great physician, is to make them think and let them know that you will become a great physician by showing them through email. Hence, your email should sound like a good person who will become a medical doctor. Your paper should sound like a person who is already know what it's doing, and then who is already preparing himself to go to medical school and ready to go into residency. Your paper shouldn't sound like an undergraduate who's trying out everything. Like, I want to try this and that. No, your paper should sound like dedicated, devoted, and ready to go. This is very important. Make sure to add, no matter even if they can provide help for them, for you, you will still become a good physician. This is a real example I use in emo, and then the reason I mention it is because one of the trauma surgeon I shadowed was really busy. He was busy to a point he couldn't talk to me in the first place. The only conversation I had with him was just like, hey, asked me, are you Korean? I'm like, yeah, I'm Korean. That was the only conversation I had in the morning. And then later on, he had emergency surgery going on. I was just standing next to him through surgery, looking at the organs and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the conference, I also went into conference with all the residents, medical students. I went home, and at a night, he called me and said he wanted to apologize for not being able to teach me through and then not being able to carry me well. And I said, you don't have to worry about it. I'm already thankful for the fact that you actually, let me shadow you. And then he said, oh, I actually don't let anyone to shadow me because trauma surgery is so just tiring and so much things to do. But he said the reason he let me shadow is because when he was about to say no, he read the last part of my email, which is saying that this whole part, the red highlighted parts, very long. You can read on your own. But after reading that part, he said, oh, I want him to come to my clinic and, come to my surgery and to see things because it seems like this person would actually want to become a doctor. Just a simple thing, man. Those little things at the end change everything. Your little things at the end saying that I was to become a good physician, even if you can help me, that changed a lot of things. That shows that you're genuine, that shows you care about things, that shows that you're a person who knows what it's doing. Then send those letters as much as you want to people. Send it. Who cares if you send only 10 letters and only one of them said yes? Then send 100 times, send 1,000 times. Who cares? Send it as much as you want, and the more you send it, the more you're going to shadow. And also, the great idea to do is to make an Excel spreadsheet to keep a track of all your list of shadowing position, and you should make a Google Docs for you to keep track of all the things that you learn in the clinic and write down for you to use in your essay, for using your own use, and for using your own interview questions, and so on. Remember, more you do it, the more you're going to shadow. Do yourself a favor and write a multiple letter and send them to physicians. You can get your own shadowing positions and learn. You can do it. Now, let's work on email for around 30 minutes now. Nathan, do you want to work on your email right now? Or do you want to work on your rough draft on your own time and send it to me through email? and I would check in and edit for you. How about that?
Sure, that sounds good.
Yeah, I don't want you to just sit down here for 20 minutes and write right now. But this is, you can, I will send you PDF version of this. You don't have to take a screenshot, but this is how you're going to write. The whole story will be like, explain who you are, mention about physician's work, explain who fascinated you by his work, and then politely ask if you can learn from her or him through shadowing. Then end the letter with, I will still become a good doctor even if you can't help. One pro tip I can give it to you is you don't have to read each paper. You don't. You can just read the abstract, or you can use a ChatGPT to analyze any research paper that you don't want to read. Just ask a ChatGPT to like analyze, saying that, hey, analyze this bullet points for me to use in email. They will give it to you so that you can use the parts in the email. And then you should make your own template to use. Hence, the only part you have to work on is each physician's email and name, the specialty, and the work of research and the research interest area. This is what your template should look like or could look like. This is an example template of what I might want to make it look like. You know, this is mine. You can make your own. Please make your own, because we already have shown this to like 20 more people. And then if you guys just use the same template, one of the physician will get like 2 templates who sound the same, and then we'll be like, oh wait, this person used a template. We want to make sure that every physician to think that you have written them a genuine letter only for them. We want our email to sound like you read a whole email out of desperation. Like, we want it sounds like that. You can write like, hello, Dr. something something. My name is this, and I'm a this year pre-medical student who has always been interested in photo medicine. As I was going through specialty, which is like nephrology or cardiology or whatever the things you want to shadow for, journals, and dissertation to study on my own, I came across your work on this. Now, one part I want to mention is how professional is this part? As I was scrolling through this journals and dissertation to study on my own, this already sounds like a whole different breed. How many pre-med students or how many, let's say, how many undergraduate students actually study medicine on their own? Like, no one. So if you say that, as I was scrolling through journals and dissertation to study on my own, that already sounds like you are already ready to become MD. Wow, or DO. And I came across your work and it fascinated me. Of course, you will find their paper from their profile, but we're going to act like we have read their paper while looking through journals, okay? This is very important. While we looked through the journals, we found your paper and it fascinated me. I realized I want to become a great physician and a biomedical scientist like you. And I was wondering if I could learn what it's like to practice medicine, like nephrology, what is cardiology, cardiology, whatever the things you want to do, from you. Please let me know if this is possible. And even if you can grant me a chance to shadow you, I still want to thank you for reading my email this far. I will still promise you that I will become a great physician like you. Very important. STEM people suck at writing email. STEM people suck at writing a whole essay. This is a reason a lot of people cold email, a lot of people cold call, and still get to say no from physicians because they sound weird. Your email matters. While you're writing the email, even more matter. This is a strategy. This whole thing here is the strategy. I will send the PDF version, so don't worry. But this is the strategy. Your email should filled with reasons for this physician to help you. Filled with reason. Filled with absolute lot of reason for you to help. So that's the one thing to keep in mind. And we're gonna go to the next. If you have any question, you can ask me, Nathan. I'm pretty sure you're listening to this well, but let's make sure. Now, when you're reading journals or dissertation, when you like copy and paste the physician's work, you might be interacting with, you have to pay $39 for this. No, you don't have to. just copy and paste the school library accounts. You would have a school library off the campus VPN, turn it on, copy and paste the names of the journal, and you will probably find them. The reason is UC Library is really big to a point they have every journals for medicine and every dissertation for medicine. They have almost everything except the FBI and CIA things. They have everything, so you can actually just access the journal for free. You don't have to spend your own money. You don't have to write your Google email for that. Just use your school accounts for free and you got this. Now, after writing those good emails, after you found those shadowings, and you have some of those emails and the physician say, yes, come over, ready to rock and roll. These are some of the things to keep in mind for shadowing after getting your spot. First, reply saying thank you. Thank you matters. We want to thank the physicians. It's always good to show respect. Thank them for accepting you to shadow them and politely ask two things. May I shadow you multiple times for the duration of 2 to 4 weeks? You should shadow one physician multiple times, which means like every Tuesday for a month, or every Wednesday, or every Tuesday and Thursday for every week for like 2 months or something. The reason is we want to learn from one physician for a longer duration so that you can build a relationship, plus so that you can have, you can learn about that specialty even deeper. I mean, of course, 1 day could be fine. Like some of the trauma surgery, I only shadow for 1 day, but for nephrology, I shadow like 7 different times, meeting every Monday, every week for like 2 months or something. So you don't have to worry about it. But still, it will be better if you shadow one specialist for like multiple times for 2 to 3 months. And also, you should ask, they will probably tell you which times they're fine with. They will probably tell you. But if they don't mention it, just tell them, is there any fine timeline for you? I would love to fit into your schedule. Make sure to show respect. Make sure to, ask them if they have a preferred times and so on. They're the one who's, giving you chances to shadow them. So make sure to just keep in really good respect for them. Plus, if you get your shadowing spots at like big hospital, like UC Irvine, like UC Riverside, Loma Linda, you will probably have to do some blood work, like TB testing, and like you have to do some of those like vaccines and so on. That paperwork might have to be done, but if those things come in to do, just finish them as fast as you can. Finish them as fast as you don't take like a week to do your TB test. That's stupid. If the TB testing has been requested today, then do it just right after. Run to CVS and get a TB testing or something. Do it as fast as you can, and this physician will like you. Scrubs can never go wrong. It can never go wrong. The proper wear you should have it on your either casual dress or scrubs. But certainly scrubs can never go wrong. Now, certain things to look out for. Some physicians don't actually like their medical students to wear a tie or wear a white gown. And the reason is they might spread disease. In the fabric, the longer fabric you have, the more disease you might be able to spread. So some physicians don't even wear ties in these days. And some of, I don't think the physician would ask you like take off a tie or something, but what I'm saying is you can wear casual dress look, but scrubs can never go wrong. I have never met a physician get mad at you for wearing a scrub. Scrub is like the most proper way to go in hospital. You don't have to buy fake, you don't have to buy those like expensive scrubs. You can just buy your own scrub from like Dickies or something for cheap. Scrubs are really cheap when you go to like a good store. You don't have to buy a brand name. So buy a one scrub and then make sure you wear it. But if you're going for surgery shadowing, they will give you a scrub. For surgery shadowing, they give you a scrub. So make sure to just keep that in your mind, because they need to use the sterilized, aseptic scrub for you to wear in the surgery. So don't bring your own scrub. I mean, if you're going to clinic, you should wear your own scrub, but when you're with surgery, they give you a scrub. Learning comes on your own hand. Depend on attendings. Now, if the physician is you, ask many questions and learn. Ask them as close as possible. Ask them many questions so that you can learn for yourself. But if the physician is not chill, just go on with the vibe. There are some physicians who doesn't even want you to ask questions. Just go on with the vibe and yeah, just chill. The reason is if a physician is really strict, I don't think it's a good idea for them to make even triggered. Plus, if a physician is chill, you will know it. If the physician is chill, they will like you. They will already they will give you so much like positive inflection, so you will know that you will probably be able to get a good recommendation letter for them. And then you can learn so many things by your own effort, by preparing your absolute best. For example, if you're going for nephrology shadowing, study some nephrology before you go there. Go to like youtube.com or something and then like search up nephrology breakdown. They will probably have list of videos made from medical students to watch about the nephrology. It's pretty, they made it really easy, even you can understand. Maybe you should listen to them, or maybe you should watch some of the video, or maybe you should even read some of the papers, so that when you go to the attendings and ask questions, so that you don't ask weird questions. Of course, you can ask questions like, "Oh, what should I write for my essay? How's your life be like?" So on. But the better question will be like, "Oh, what is the relationship between the blood pressures and the kidney? What is the relationship between the diabetes and the creatine levels and so on?" Ask them questions that make this physician to think that this person actually has studied or read something. We want our physician to be impressed by us because they're the one who's going to write us the recommendation letter. We want them to be impressed. We want them to, think that this person knows what it's doing. We want them to think that this person is really ready to become a doctor and is very professional. So study your own. The one thing I cannot stress enough is how much shadowing can be beneficial for you on your own efforts. Study specialty before you come. Ask them a good question. Ask them advice, and ask many residents of follows too. Now, the one really fun memory I have is I met this one nephrologist who was really supportive, and then I asked him a lot of good questions. And then one day he asked one of his residents to teach me about nephrology before I come to clinic. So when the clinic starts at 9, I remember I would go to the cafeteria at 7, and the resident would come at 7 too. And for 2 hours, he would teach me about the basics of nephrology. He will pull out the paper, he will pull out the, just print paper with the pen, and he will go over the basics of nephrology and internal medicine. It was really fun. And every time when I asked this question, physician asked me about the patient. Every time when we chart in the patient, he would ask, this person has this blood pressure, this sugar level, and this protein levels in the urine. What do you think would happen? Of course, I didn't know what was the answer was, but he kept asking me, and he kept asking me because he realized that I really wanted to learn. And I remember around the 3rd week, I was actually able to guess the disorders, and also guess some of the symptoms, and also guess some of even the medication we can use. The reason is when you're learning, like when you break down as like a crash course, you probably do get it. You're gonna get it somewhere. And then you are able to learn, and you're able to understand the pathway of how the body works. It's pretty fun. It was like feeling like a little mini medical school for me. It was really fun. And then I talked with the resident, I ate with residents, I had a lunch with fellows. It was really fun to a point where I realized this is what my life will be like. It was such a great feeling. And I want you to have the same experience by just putting on your effort. Learn, study before you go, study afterward. Treat the shadowing experience as a rotation you would do in medical school. Learn as much as you can. Learn, suck it in, not only for you to write an essay and also interview question, but for you to use in your own to become a great physician. Remember, shadow nurse practitioner, nurses, and PA. You never know. Maybe you like nursing better. Maybe you like PA better. There are some PA that I know makes like 385K a year. And she's straight out of PA school. I think that's a good way to go. And to contrast, maybe, you do shadow MDs and DOs, and you do shadow PAs and MP. You really loved nursing, but at the same time, you appreciated this about MD more. Now, when you're asked in interview questions like, oh, why do you think MD or DO? Why did you choose MD or DO instead of nursing? Don't say because I didn't like nursing. Don't say, oh, I hate it. Don't say it's because the doctor is better than nursing. It's not. Just tell them, oh, nursing was fine, but I liked MD better. It's not the negative and the positive. It's the positive and even more positive. You have to make the contrast between those two, saying that I wanted to do medicine because of this reason and that reason, and then you can use the experience of shadowing MP, PA, and RN to contrast. Now, you don't have to send letters to PA or MP or nurses. Personally, I don't think so. The reason is when you go to shadow physician, you can probably, when you become friend with them, when you become really close to them, just ask doctor something. May I shadow your PA after your clinic is done? May I ask, because for surgeons, their clinic is ending like 3 or something really fast. And just ask, oh, can I shadow PA? Can I shadow your PA? Can I shadow your nurses? They will probably say yes. If doctor likes it, they're cool. They got all the authority. If they're cool, you can shadow nurses and RN that way. So there will be something to go to. Nurses, shadow PA, shadow MP. Show them respect. Show them with all your whole respect, and then shadow them with as much as you can. Learn from them too, so that you can use a good story. At the end of the shadowing, give them a handwritten letter. A lot of people only cares about finding shadowing position, but they don't care about ending the shadowing position. You need to end your shadowing well to a point where doctors like you, doctors will keep contact with you, to a point where doctors keep remembering who you are. Include a little gift at the end, little chocolate or something, or just a little like Star Wars gift card, like $10 or something. So show them your respect, show them you care about them, show them you really just love the things they have done for you. This is important. This is important because those physicians are, you have to leave a good impression to those people, and those are the ones who are going to help you throughout the career. And we're going to ask them for a recommendation letter from them at the end of a session. I'm not saying that at the end of every session. When you're ending your, shadowing physicians who are really close to you and you're really friend with this doctor, politely ask if I can get an outstanding recommendation letter from them. Don't just say, can I get a recommendation letter from them? Just say, outstanding recommendation letter, not a recommendation. The reason is, we want a person who will like you to write a good letter, right? And for that reason, we have to ask a letter of recommendation for people that only have been nice to you. If a physician was knowing, if a physician was giving you a hard time, you're not going to ask them for letter of recommendation. You're not. You have to ask a letter of recommendation to only the people that you think that for sure they would give you a good time. If the physician wasn't going along with you, don't ask him for a recommendation letter. He wouldn't write a good letter for you. He wouldn't. If you want to get a letter from your best friendly people around you, ask them for an outstanding letter of recommendation letter. This is the end of the workshop, and then we actually want to send a confirmation email to keep track of you guys. Send your rough draft. We're gonna add it and fix it for you, and then send those letters to just bunch of physicians you want to send it to. Send like 10 letters every day. Send them as much as you can. And then after you get your spot, please let us know which hospital and which specialty you were able to get your shadowing spot. The reason is we want to know which hospital and then which specialty is more open about shadowing, so we can have a big data of which people are more open. I heard that Loma Linda is really open to shadowings. I think UC Irvine is also open to shadowing. Yeah, try out. Those are the two hospitals we know. Kaiser, I don't know about Kaiser, but Loma Linda and UC Irvine is well known for letting people shadow. So just, send letter to hospital near to you. You have to drive for yourself. So near to you, drive for yourself, and then you will be able to get your shadowing spots. Lastly, if you have any question, send us email. Keep updated us. If you're struggling in shadowing, ask the question. If you are not going well with the physician, tell them, what should I do? If you If you feel uncomfortable, just send us email. Keep us updated on how you're doing in the shadow spots and positions. Keep us updated on how you're doing as a pre-medical student and so on. We're going to go over how to talk professional and how to look professional while shadowing, and also how to talk to patients and how to talk to residents after you get your shadowing spot. We're going to go over that. So whoever watching this in the recording session, please send your rough draft to us. Send us a confirmation email too. Send your rough draft so we can help and edit for you guys. Is there any question, Nathan?
No, no question.
Got it. So send the rough draft, we'll add it for you, and then yeah, send us much letter to the physician that you want to shadow for. That's it for today, and thanks for coming. And send us the letter, please. Thank you. Bye, Nathan. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I really appreciate this.
No problem. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.